everyone. I'm Aditi Lamba from ITV Gold. Welcome here. I'm so excited to be here with you all. Welcome to Dabba Dialogue, Episode 1, presented by the Culture Tree, the Consulate General of India, as well as ITV Gold, a collaboration we are so proud to have today. On the show today, we also want to congratulate the new Consul General, Mr. Randir Jaiswal, on his new term, and we're wishing the Consulate General of India, New York, and Mr. Randir Jaiswal the best of luck, and we hope you continue to inspire everyone and empower the diaspora. Also, a big shout out to our celebrity guests for this afternoon. We are being joined by Dr. Kanchan Kaya and Falu Shah. Thank you so much for being with us on ITV Gold. You see, Dabba Dialogue is an attempt to bring forth some really true South Asian stories, maybe an attempt to get a little closer to our history, especially for all these younger generation that we have growing here in the US. So with that, today we're joined by 8 Indian American children and their moms who are also social media influencers. A huge shout out now here to their Instagram pages at Diaspora Co, at Manique Chauhan, at B.Spice, at Love Laugh Mirch, at Lavita Thomani, at Well Adorned Life, at Anand.rr, at Chief Spicy Mama. Welcome to the show all. Now I'll give it to Anu Sehgal, who is the founder of the Culture Tree, to take this forward and discuss cultural literacy and also the Dabba Dialogue Episode 1. Anu.
Thank you so much, Aditi, and thank you, Aditi, for co-sponsoring this event along with the Indian Consulate. Salam, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, and Eid Mubarak. So today is, or yesterday was Eid, depending on where you live. So definitely I want to give a shout out for Eid Mubarak for everyone. We are extremely excited to have this wonderful platform called Dabba Dialogues. This is the first episode that we are airing. And as some of you might have heard about the Dabba Dialogues, it is a series in which we will have conversations about our stories, revolving around identity, diversity, heritage, culture, and the diversity in India, something that people don't know about as much. All the stories will revolve around our dabbas. And as most South Asians would know, dabbas can manifest into, different forms. It could be literally, it is literally a container. It could be a masala dabba, a spice container, or a tiffin dabba, which is a lunchbox. So today's episode is about our masala dabbas. And it is also called different things in different parts of India. It is called namakdani in some areas. But it is a quintessential part of any Indian kitchen or any South Asian kitchen, as a matter of fact. And each dabba is like a signature of the household. It has a story. It represents our heritage, lineage, and place of origin. And we are so fortunate to have Kanchan as well as Falu and these 8 Indian American children who will share these stories with us. Dabba Dialogue is like a dialogue that we are having right now with all these children and as well as experts, but it's also a dialogue that happened behind the screen, in which these 8 children talk to their parents, their grandparents, their uncles and aunts to research about their dabbas. And we are so excited to hear from them. So as Aditi mentioned, we have our guests. I do want to acknowledge each of the children who are in our dialogue today. We have Lekha. So if you can just wave your hand, all the children, we have Lekha, we have Shagun, we have Sarayu, we have Surya, Ilhan, Mihika, Arya, and Resham. And we also really want to thank the Consul General Randir Jaiswal for letting us host these cultural programs on a monthly basis. I do want to tell you the Dabba Dialogue will continue in fall. This is the first episode. We will have a second episode sometime in fall. And if you wish to participate, please tell us your spice story through a picture depiction of your dabba and tag it on Instagram or Facebook. And then you can, we'll recognize you, and then we'll see how we can have you participate in the second Dabba Dialogue.
So gather together all your masala dabbas, everybody, because we want to see what your spice story is. Anu, I think this is a great time to let's kick off this event and start with our first celebrity guest, Dr. Kanchan Kaya. I know you have lots to say about her, so let's get to it.
Absolutely. So Kanchenkoya, aka Chief Spice Mama, has a PhD in biomedicine from Harvard University and training from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. She is a chef on BuzzFeed's Tasty, an influencer with more than 118,000 followers, I think. Kanchan, correct me if I'm wrong. She is also a health coach who believes that food and spices can be our best medicine. And she has been my health coach and really instrumental for my health, like kickstarting my health last year. So I'm really grateful to her for that. And I'm a huge follower. Everything she posts on Insta, I am like gobbling it up, literally and figuratively. So I'm so honored to have Kanchan kick off our first Dabba Dialogue along with Falu.
Kanchan Kaya, Dr. Kanchan Kaya, welcome to this amazing event, Dabba Dialogue Episode 1. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for the extremely kind and generous introduction, Anu. And I'm super excited to be here and just love this initiative.
Yes, and of course, I have so many questions for you. Both Anu and I have questions for you. So just to kick this off, what is your fondest memory of food? And you have such a huge passion for food and healthy eating and healthy living. Where is that coming from?
I don't think I would be unusual or an exception to say that my family growing up in India was very food obsessed, as most Indian families are. Cooking and discussing what was going to be for dinner or lunch, comments around food, comments around flavor were just very, very typical part of our conversation. So I have honestly so many memories around food that it would be hard to pick one. But I remember my grandmother, who was actually vegetarian, cooking meat curries for the rest of us. And she would go out of her way to taste the sauce to make sure it was absolutely on point before she would then add the meat, which she wouldn't eat herself. So I think, we all have these stories of our grandmothers, our aunts, our moms, our families, just really pouring their heart and soul into dishes to please all palates across the table. And I just grew up with that. And I feel like it's my responsibility now to pass that on to the next generation.
So Kanchan, I have a question for you. And some of these questions have been submitted by our viewers as well. So firstly, tell us about your dabba, what's in your dabba. There are 2 dabbas that I see. And tell us about your spice story. So we are going to ask everyone about their spice story. So tell us about your spice story, and also tell us about your fondest food memories. If you had to pick one fondest food memory, what would it be?
Yeah, so, okay, I'll start by saying that I have 3 spice dabbas, actually 3 plus a whole pantry of bottles and jars. So I have a lot of spices, but if I had to pick, these 2 dabbas basically showcase the spices that I use and celebrate in my kitchen most often. And I can talk about them individually later if you like, but there's a lot of the common kind of usual suspects that most Indian kitchens have, and then a few that I have integrated into my spice box that are not necessarily Indian, but I think go really beautifully with Indian cuisine and all global cuisine. My spice story, I think, is really an intersection of ancient wisdom and modern science. So I grew up, like most of us, with a lot of the ancient wisdom around the benefits of spices. My grandmother would make me haldi doodh and all sorts of other concoctions when I was sick. And then when I was doing my PhD at Harvard Medical School, my lab started to study the benefits of turmeric. and other spices. And it was really an aha moment where thousands of years of ancient wisdom was now merging with cutting edge modern science. And I think that has defined my story, my brand, my work. And I just want to continue to sort of show how this really powerful ancient wisdom is now coming together thousands of years later to help us live sort of a more radiant life.
That was such an amazing answer. That is so great. You know, I think the spice stories are going to be so exciting today. I have one more question left for you, Dr. Kanchan Koya. You know, there's so many parents that are joining us today, not just in this event, but also on Facebook Live. You know, what would you say to them about adding spices and a little bit more culture into their food, into their life? I know you're a huge proponent of adding spices to the babies and feeding them the spices. So what is your take on all of this?
Yeah, I think as Indians and part of the Indian diaspora, we should just go back to our traditional practices. So in India, babies are offered spices. The first food for babies is often khichdi or some version of that. And there's always a little bit of cumin, some haldi, turmeric in there. So just going back to our roots and not losing sight of how powerful that ancient practice was. You know, we now, I feel like a lot of Indians take the spice box for granted. It's there, we've seen it for years, like no big deal, but it's a really powerful dabba. And you know, non-Indians are now studying it and really trying to understand what the benefits are of these ancient ingredients. So I think we just need to sort of pay homage to something that we can take for granted as Indians and really respect and use it as often as we can.
Yeah, for sure. And I can tell you, my mom definitely has a beautiful masala dabba, which she uses a lot in her food. Thank you for talking to us, Dr. Kanchan Koya, through all of this. I think we got a lot of insight into what you're all about and what you're passionate about. Anu, let's go ahead and reach out now to Falu Shah, who's also our celebrity guest for the afternoon. And let's begin a little conversation with her now. Falu, born in Mumbai, India, is a New York-based Grammy-nominated singer and songwriter whose music blends ancient classical Indian melodies with contemporary Western sounds. In her burgeoning US-based career, she has worked and collaborated with a wide array of artists, huge artists, including A.R. Rahman, Yo-Yo Ma, Phillips Glass, Wyclef Jean, her teacher, Ustad Sultan Khan, Blues Traveler, Ricky Martin, and Bernie Worrell. Falu, thank you so much for being with us here on ITV Gold.
And
so everybody else.
An honor to be here. Thank you for having me. And what a great group of people. Thank you, Kanchan. That was awesome. Everything that you said is so aligned with what I often think of for music, you know, and the culture that we've inherited there too. So it's all coming in very nicely. Thank you for having me.
Falu, thank you for hosting, being a part of our second event. You have been part of the event in which you gave an introduction to Indian music, which was also sponsored by the Indian Consulate. I have, so the first question we have is, again, tell us your spice story. Show us your dabba and also talk about your fondest food memories as a child. And then, you know, if you want to share something as an adult also, that would be great.
How about I start with a song that I wrote on it? I wrote a song for Indian spices on my album Falu's Bazaar, right? So I have this dabba, and this is exactly how the music came about, right? So haldi namak jeera mirchi rai ajwai methi hing aur cheeni ye sab mile to bane rasoi.
Beautiful.
And the way it came about is, you know, I had a preschooler, 4 years old. I have a boy, Nishad, and he came home often from school and always asked me, Mom, why is our food yellow? So khichdi, right? I used to feed him khichdi and it has this turmeric and it's yellow. And he's like, why is our food always yellow? I'm like, Beta, because you're eating something that's going to be so good for your health. And it's like, what is that? Haldi. Okay, say haldi. And then teaching him pronunciations, seeing his curiosity and then thinking, how do I get this child not only be proud of his heritage and identity, but also adopt it as his lifestyle? Being born like all of you, Indian American here in this country, you sometimes have to connect the dots from what we have inherited as first generation Indians, and then pass it on to our next generation. So the music came about because of his questions of, why do I look different in school? Well, you have pigments, you have color in you, and that protects you from the sun, and that is your identity, and you should be proud of it. And you can draw from American culture, you can draw from Indian culture, and make the best of everything that you learn. Okay. And then then I started writing songs about food, about how beneficial it is, about vegetables, about Indian fruits, about Indian flowers. And I wanted to teach him everything that is so unique to India, but so special and so loved by our community. And he needs to understand where he comes from, because where he comes from, just like Kanchan said, is amazing. It has wisdom. It has a very thought out process of how we eat, why we do certain things, how do we inherit that same values and give them to these beautiful children. That's in our hands. We have to do that duty as parents and first generation Indians, so that our culture passes on, our kids do the same to their kids.
Sure. Wow, what a wonderful answer to that. I have to ask you at this point, Falu, you have a Grammy nominated album called The Falu's Bazaar. And for all the kids that are joining us here, a Grammy nomination is a really, really big deal. And we're so proud that she's one of the only South Asians to be nominated for a Grammy to this level. So Falu, my question to you would be, and maybe it's in addition to what you were saying before, what was the inspiration behind Falu's Bazaar? What were you trying to achieve through it?
So I have to give a shout out to Lekha here, Lekha Wood. She has been my student since she was 2.5 years old. And she is also singing on that album. So she has a solo. So people should check her out. Really talented Bharatnatyam dancer, Kathak dancer, and a terrific singer. And my favorite, she's one of my favorite. Lekha, hi. Nice to see you here. So the inspiration came because of the curiosity of my child. Because as a mother, when your child comes home and asks you, why am I speaking a different language at home? Why do I speak Gujarati when all my friends speak English? Why do I look different? Why do I have different clothes when I go to a party, Diwali party? Why do I eat different food? Well, I, as a first generation immigrant, I had really no answers to that. And my heart just started writing songs, music. And in order to give, so if he would ask me a color question, so why do we speak a different language, right? So I decided to write a song on colors in Hindi. That way I taught him the Hindi colors, names of the colors in Hindi, jaise bangani, narangi, lal, safed, hara. It's difficult for preschoolers to just learn that, but if you make a song out of it, then they just sing it. And for them, they're singing some bunch of words, but they're actually singing colors, right? So we wrote a song on rainbow in Hindi and English. We wrote numbers. We wrote, like we used to teach them tinta, da din dinda, da din dinda, da din dinda, da din dinda, all of these things, but in a very fun, dancing, lovely, happy way. So children learn it, but they also don't really think they're learning. They just sing. The first thing I told him was, how do you say your name in Hindi? Mera naam kya hai? Mera naam Falu hai. मैं कितने साल का हूँ? मैं 9 साल का हूँ. मेरी 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 मम्मी का नाम क्या है? तुम्हारी मम्मी का नाम फालू है. So just small things, but in your language. Make it yours. Give it an identity. Be proud of it and walk with it. That's how Falu's Bazaar came into making. And I think this struggle that all the immigrant families have, be it Vietnamese, be it Pakistani, be it Arabic, be it anybody from Brazil or Spain, we all have these same sometimes struggle. Where do we have a limit of what we want to teach our children from our culture, but what we don't want to teach, right? So our struggles is what made the common element between all the immigrant families, communities of different colors. And that's how I think it appealed to the Grammy, that this is a universal message of everybody who immigrates to America brings with them their values, and how much should we give it to our children, how much should we not give it. So that struggle is what was my common element with other communities, and that's how I think Palu's Bazaar made it to where it did.
So Falu, I've told this to you, your album Falu's Bazaar, I use it in my program on an everyday basis. It is like our bread and butter. And we actually, all our language classes, there's some of my students here, they start with Mera Naam Kya Hai, which is sung by your son.
Yeah.
So, that's a good segue into another question that we have. And that is, what is your advice for kids and young adults that want to pursue music and celebrate their culture through music? What is your advice?
I think staying true to your roots and staying authentic and proud of who you are as an Indian American will be the biggest gift you can give yourself. Because in these times of protests and all the things that are happening in the world, the only thing you can latch on to is your heritage, is your culture, is your roots, because your roots are what's going to give you the foundation of standing up to everything that's challenging around you. If you don't have legs and roots, you'll fall. And you are so lucky that you have been born into this great culture that is 3 years old. Take everything from it. Take you.
I believe we're having a technical difficulty.
Yeah. Falu, you're freezing up on us a little bit.
Yes. It's okay. Let's wait on her to come back and join us. We were getting such a great answer from her, right, Anu? It was so amazing. I think she really wants to celebrate, culture through music, and I'm sure she is all about, people pursuing music. We want our children to know our culture, like where we come from, what we're made of. So important. So if any of the children here are interested, you should think about it. And moms, I'm sorry if you don't want me to say that to them, but I think this is great. Anu, I think we should move ahead and go to our 8 Indian American children.
Yeah, absolutely. Aditi, before we do that, I know Falu sang the song. I just want to show the visual of her song.
Let's do it.
Because it's a family, it's a family gathering, and I think it's very powerful. So I will quickly share my screen with you. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure you can see this beautiful song from her Grammy-nominated album.
This is a cute spoon. What is it for?
This spoon is for the Indian spices.
Indian spices?
जीरा मिर्ची राई अजवाइन मेथी हिंग और चीनी ये सब मिले तो बने रसोई.
Yummy, yummy in your tummy, these are Indian spices. Yummy, yummy in your tummy, these are Indian spices.
Different colors, different flavors, perfectly mixed. We'll make some delicious dishes.
Yummy, yummy in your tummy, these are Indian spices.
Check us out. We come up with our brand new CD for kids, Falu's Bazaar, at Joe's Pub on February 18th at noon. See you there.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful song.
Yeah, and I
And I
think
see Falu is back.
follow track.
I'm
Follow-
sorry, I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
All right, so Anu, I think we should go ahead and get to the next part of our segment. And Falu, thank you so much for talking to us about music and food and so much. Stay with us here, everybody. So we're going to the 8 Indian American children right now. I'm going to give it over to Anu. And I'm so excited to hear their spice story. So Anu, take over.
So the first person who's going to talk is Lekha. Lekha, if you can unmute yourself and just introduce yourself. You were in that song, I believe, right, Lekha?
Yeah.
Along with Falu's mother and her son Nishad. So Lekha, if you can tell us about yourself, about your spice story, and also show us your dabba. I see the dabba right there.
Yeah. So my name is Leica. I'm 11 and a half years old. And yeah, I was in the album Falu's Bazaar with Falanti. And so these are my 2 dabbas, sort of. So this is my family's spice dabba. And then this is my personal dabba, so I'll take it like pretty much everywhere. And I usually have my lunch, dinner, and a snack in this dabba. And so my story and my heritage is obviously Indian, but my mother's parents were born and raised in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India, and they both migrated to the US in the 1970s. My dad's dad was born to an Irish family in New York City, and throughout his life, his family moved quite a bit. So as he was growing up to the United States. And my dad's mom is from León, Mexico, and immigrated and spent most of her years in Oregon. And my mom and dad were both raised in Flint, Michigan. And eventually they both moved and met here in New York City. And this is where like my roots are. And as colorful as they may be, I'm super proud of my family heritage. And I'm really grateful to have so many interesting backgrounds. And I know you guys asked about our favorite parts about being Indian American. And I have to say that when my grandparents came to this country and all of their hard work and strong community building, they have a super strong community in Michigan because they first immigrated to Michigan. That community has trickled down and affected me in the best way possible. And I'm so grateful to have that strong community. And I know that they formed a strong bond and a tight-knit community. I also realized that many Indians don't want to lose their heritage when coming to America. And thankfully, I know that since my grandparents did not want to lose that, I'm the one who's gained a lot out of it. And so obviously I have connections with Falu Auntie, and my parents were introduced to Falu Auntie, who taught me Hindustani music and so much about my culture. And I'm so grateful to have her influence on my life. And also Navatman, where I've been learning Bharatanatyam, Kathak, and Carnatic music. And obviously before the pandemic, I'd spend all my time at Navatman. So my dabba is so important because I had to use that all the time. And lastly, I know that classical Indian arts have truly found a home here in America, and I plan on being a part of that always. Also, my favorite food is Indian food is cauliflower shak, and has haldi, dana jiru, and rye. And I love gulab jamun.
Oh, I love gulab jamun too. That was amazing, Lekha. Thank you so much. So our next speaker is Shagun. Hi, Shagun. Shagun, just unmute yourself and tell us your spice story.
Hi, my name is Shagun Diora. I recently turned 9 years old.
Yeah.
And I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I go to BGA.
Shagun, do you want to show us your dabba? Do you have your dabba over there?
This is I have star anise, cardamom, saffron, cinnamon sticks, salt, chili powder, and turmeric.
And do you have any favorite spices, Shagun, or favorite Indian food?
My favorite spice is saffron, and my favorite Indian food is dosa and chicken tikka masala.
Sounds great. So you want to tell us something about your story? About your parents, maybe your grandparents?
My parents are both from India. My mom is from Punjab and my dad is from Rajasthan. And I love being Indian American because I get the best of both worlds. And I get to spend the 4th of July and Holi and Diwali and Rakhi, which is coming up soon. And I really like the stories behind the holidays. And I really like wearing the lovely traditional clothes like I'm wearing right now.
Yes, you look beautiful, Shagun.
Thank you.
So I know, Shagun, you cook quite a bit with your mom, right? What is your favorite thing to make with your mom?
I really like helping her out making breakfast. Like if she's making dosa, I help her put what I want in the dosa.
Yeah. Sounds great. Is there anything else, Shagun, you want to share with us? So one thing that I want our viewers and especially children to notice is, we are also trying to highlight the diversity in India. And, these dabbas are going to look different with each story you hear. And we purposefully have picked children from different backgrounds and different states and regions in India. And just notice the difference in dabbas and also similarities in these dabbas. So next we have Sarayu. Hi, Sarayu.
Hi, my name is Sarayu. I live in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Wait, my full name is Sarayu Anand. This is my mom's sambar dubbi, which was a gift to her from her friend. There are 7 cups inside, and these contain ingredients for making tadka or seasoning. I hope I don't drop this. This is chana dal, this is urad dal, this is turmeric, this is mustard, this is pepper, this is methi here, and this is bay leaf. Tadka is used in Indian cooking, and I like tadka because the dal in the oil gives crunchiness.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share about my mom's sambar dubbi.
Sounds great. So Sarayu, do you have any favorite spices, any favorite Indian food, and do you cook with your parents or no?
This may seem a little embarrassing, but my favorite spice is probably the Maggi spice.
Oh, the Maggi spice. That's amazing. And what do you like to cook, Sarayu?
I don't really cook in general, but if I had to cook something, it would definitely be idli because, I don't know, in my point of view, I just think it's easy.
Right. And it's light, and you can pair it with yummy chutneys, any type of chutneys. Sarayu, tell us about how you feel as an Indian American. All the children here are bicultural children, right? What is your feeling about being an Indian American?
Feeling like it. The feeling is like I don't know how to describe it, but the feeling is like I feel happy in general and I feel unique.
Yep. Yep. Sounds great. Anything else, Sarayu, that you want to share?
My favorite holiday is probably Halloween because how close it is to my birthday. My birthday is October 26th and Halloween is October 31st. But Diwali, it comes closer.
Right. So you have a dress up Halloween party for all your birthdays, right? Probably.
Yup. I was like some sort of Pokemon thingamajig for my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds great. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Next, we have Surya. Hi, Surya.
Hi.
Surya, where are you right now? You're sitting outdoors in some beautiful place.
Oh yeah, I'm upstate.
You're upstate. Enjoying the nature, right?
Uh-huh.
So Surya, show us your dabba and tell us your spice story.
Oh, okay. So this is my dabba.
Yep.
And I chose this because I'm not fully Indian and this represents my Puerto Rican side.
Right.
So my parents are from Gujarat, Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, and Puerto Rico. And my favorite spice is probably cumin because it has a nice flavor to food. And yeah.
And tell us about your favorite Indian dish. And then also tell us, how do you feel being an Indian American? What are the things that you love about being a bicultural child?
Oh, okay. So my favorite dish is probably puri with aloo.
Mm.
And then I really like the community that being an Indian American brings, and how, like, where I live, at least, everyone's so interconnected, and it's nice.
Yep, family is a huge part of being Indian or South Asian. Is there anything else, Surya, you want to share with us?
Not really.
Do you cook? Do you cook Indian food?
Yeah. Well, I help my mom sometimes. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
Well, I help my mom make gobi, and I guess that is turmeric.
Yeah.
And yeah, roasted gobi.
Sounds great. So cumin is actually such a versatile spice. I use it quite a bit, but it's also used in so many other cultures and countries. So next we have, thank you so much, Surya. Next we have Ilhan, who's sitting with Kanchan.
Okay.
Hi, Ilhan.
Ilhan, and this is my dabba.
Yep.
My mom is from India, Pune. And
Yep.
my dad is from he was born in Florida, but got raised in California. And my spices in my dabba are chili powder, mustard seed, coriander, turmeric, and I think it's that's it.
Cumin.
Yeah, cumin. And my my favorite one is probably I like coriander and turmeric.
Mm. And where do you live, Ilhan, and how old are you?
Okay, I'm 7 and I live in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah. So Ilhan, since your mom is Cheese Spice Mama, do you cook with her?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. So what is your favorite thing to cook with your mom?
I don't really know.
What is your favorite Indian food?
I like gulab jamun. And my mom,
Okay, we have had 2 gulab jamuns.
I don't have it too often because my mom, it's not that healthy. So I can't really, I'm only really allowed to have it at restaurants.
Yeah.
And then my favorite savory food, not like because that's like a kind of like a dessert. My favorite savory food is aloo paratha, dal,
Mhm.
and
Sounds great. So Ilhan, tell us the same question. Tell us how do you feel being an Indian American child? What are the things that you like a lot about it?
I kind of like, I just kind of like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds great. And do you ever go to India?
Like almost like twice a year, maybe.
Yeah. How do you like that?
I like it.
Yeah. Sounds great, Ilhan. Anything else, Ilhan, you want to share with us?
My dad's grandfather is fully Indian,
Yeah.
and
Sounds great. Wow. What an amalgam. So next our speaker is Mexica Gupta.
Hi, my name is Mexica and I'm 10 years old. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. My mom and dad were both born in India and they met here in the US. My mom is from Mumbai and my dad is from Rajasthan, but me and my brother were both born here in Texas. My favorite part about being Indian American is probably that I have 2 cultures, and the Indian cuisine has so many yummy dishes, and my favorite one has probably got to be Mysore dosa because it's spicy and crunchy at the same time. And I'm so thankful that my favorite spice is probably turmeric because my favorite color is yellow and the spice is yellow. And my mom always tells me that it's the most powerful spice in the world.
That's true. That's true.
And this is also my dabba. It has coriander powder, dry mango powder, mustard seeds, red chili powder, cumin seeds, roasted cumin seed powder, and turmeric powder.
It's amazing. My dabba looks very similar to you, but I also have 2 dabbas. One is kind of similar to what you showed us, and then I have a dabba for all my desserts. So again, different stories from different households. Anything else, Mexica, that you want to share with us?
Yes, this is my dabba, and this is my mom's dabba when she was in school.
Oh.
It's a steel dabba.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Mexica. Next we have Arya. Hi, Arya.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
So Arya, tell us about yourself. Tell us your age, where you live, and also then tell us your spice story.
I live in New Jersey, and my mom is from Punjab. My dad is from India, and my favorite food that my mom makes is and my nanny makes is one of them is aloo ka paranta, and the second one is biryani.
Oh, what type of biryani?
Where it has the chicken.
Chicken biryani. Do you have any favorite spices, Arya?
One of them is jeera, where the second one.
Yep.
Bhuna jeera, right?
The bhuna jeera.
Bhuna jeera, okay.
And I like mint.
Yeah.
And turmeric. And salt.
And which one? And salt. Yeah, salt I think we all need, right? Arya, what do you cook with your mom? What is your favorite thing to make?
I like to make idli sambar and chutney bread.
Oh, yummy. So the mint that you showed, was it mint leaves, dried mint leaves in the Dabba?
Mint powder.
Okay, okay. Sounds great. Thank you so much, Arya. And last but not the least, we have Resham Datwani. Hi, Resham. Resham, if you can tell us your spice story and just also tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Resham. I'm 17 years old and I'm going to be a senior in high school and I live in New Jersey. So I have my mom's dabba right here. Let's see if you can see it. I don't want to drop it, I'm afraid. Here's what it looks like. And there's a lot of spices in here, and I actually have a specific story about this. When I was younger, my mom used to make egg curry all the time. It was like something she made a lot because my brother really liked it. And I don't know, I was never a big fan of eggs, so I never really wanted to eat it. And I would always refuse, like always. And one day my mom just sat me down and she took out the dabba and she made it in front of me. She explained what she put into it and she asked me to try it right at the end. And I was like, I'm not really feeling it. But then she made me and it was really good. And I always ask for it now. I always eat it now whenever she makes it. It's one of my favorite things now. Yeah, and I think we've been talking about what we like most about being Indian American. And I think like the community that's been built around me that my parents have kind of created when they were younger that is now like in the next generation. So now I have a whole set of friends that I have that are Indian American that I know I'll have later on in life, and that generational friend group will still be a thing later on for my children.
Yeah.
Indian American.
Sounds great. So I know, Aditi, we have time for some questions.
Yes. And I want to say this was so amazing, everybody. What great stories. And Anu, great idea to show the masala dabbas here. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's go ahead and do questions, Anu.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know Resham and Surya had questions. So why don't you start off, and then I will also see if there are any questions on Facebook Live. But anyone who has any questions for Kanchan or Falu, or amongst even the children, please do ask now. Resham, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, I have a question for Falu. I wanted to know how it felt to go to the Grammys.
It felt, what a great question. Thank you for asking. It felt, really, I'll be honest, it felt like a different planet. I grew up in India, right? And I've sung for 16 hours a day for 10 or 15 years every day. And when I was practicing that hard, I never, you do it because music is a journey. You want to do that journey no matter where you end up as your destination. The joy is in doing it and living the life of a musician rather than just, of course, everybody likes to be awarded, but there's a joy in just doing it. And I love it. It's my passion. So it never feels like work to me. So I went to the Grammys and I was the only South Asian there in the entire 3,500 people there, right? So not only was I proud to represent India, but I felt so humbled and honored and sense of a responsibility to your culture. Because what I went there was the first, I went there to representing my culture. What they loved was what I had to say about my spices, about our color, about our tintal, our music, our inheritance. They liked that. And I was so proud to be able to share a little bit of what I learned from my parents, my gurus, with that world. And I am doing it again. I am submitting another album this year called Someday. It's coming out today, actually. So it's I took traditional music of India And I've recorded 5 songs in quarantine from my apartment. I have a studio. And we're actually coming out with an album and it releases today. It's called Someday, if you are interested.
Sounds amazing. Where can we listen to it, Falu?
It will be available on all the streaming platforms on August 28th.
Oh, so exciting.
Thank you.
So I know Shagun had a question too for Kanchan. Shagun, you want to ask your question?
My mommy and daddy give me haldi and milk when I'm sick. So do these spices make us happy and healthy?
Love that question. My mom and my grandmom also gave me haldi doodh when I was sick many, many years ago. And I try to give these kids haldi doodh. They don't always want to drink it. But to answer your question, yes, our ancient Indian medical wisdom, the system of Ayurveda, actually calls haldi or turmeric, and you mentioned this earlier, we call it Jayanti, which means that which can cure all ailments. And it sounds like a bit of an exaggeration, but the research is showing us that it's actually true. So turmeric and some of the chemicals in the spice turmeric have effects on so many aspects of our health. Like if you have a sore throat that's caused by a bacterial infection, turmeric can help. And it can also help, you said happy and healthy. We actually know that it might even help our brain be the healthiest, best version of itself. It can help things like digestion and really a range of different things. So your mom is right and your dad is right. Haldi doodh and haldi in lots of different food preparations can really make you healthy and happy.
Surya? Thank you, Shagun. Surya, you had a question?
Yeah, I do. I have a question for Miss Koya. So do you put spices in everything?
Another great question. You know what? I honestly do. So I think we should stop thinking of spices as just reserved for specific recipes, and we should challenge ourselves as home cooks to use spices as often as we can. So I even will use spices in things like popcorn. Of course, Indian dishes, easy to use spices, but what about non-Indian dishes like pancakes, smoothies, popcorn, muffins, banana bread? I challenge myself to use spices in every single thing I make.
So I think Sarayu has a question, and there was actually a Facebook question also submitted. So I'm going to ask Falu that. But Sarayu, why don't you go ahead, and then I'll ask Falu this Facebook question, and then Lekha can go.
Is honey a spice?
Should I take that?
Yeah, you have to take it, I think.
Yeah, no. So honey is, it's a good question. Honey is technically not a spice. Sometimes it's just about definitions, but technically a spice is the dried root, stem, seed or flower of a plant. And in fact, the dried leaves of a plant are technically herbs, like dry thyme or dry parsley. But I think you can safely combine herbs and spices into one category. But honey would be something that is derived from a flower that's converted into a kind of liquid by bees. So I think honey stands on its own. But if we officially want to define spices, it would be the things that I described.
So Falu, there was a question on Facebook. Firstly, people are congratulating you about your Grammy nomination and your new album, and people are very excited about it. So someone asked a question about the video that we showed. They basically asked who all were in the video. So if you can tell us a little bit about that. And then they also asked who wrote the songs in Falu's Bazaar?
Sure. So the one person that you already are seeing here is in the video, Miss Lekha Wood. Hey, Lekha. She must not have glasses back then. I don't know. Her little sister, Sarah, was in the video, who's also a beautiful student of mine, beautiful girl. My son was in the video, my mother was in the video, and it was like a three-generational endeavor with my two lovely girls, Lekha and Sarah.
Sounds great. Lekha, you had a question?
Oh, yeah, you had another question about the last, what was the second question, Anu?
Oh, did you
in the
write?
face.
The question was, did you write all the songs?
I wrote all the songs with the fellow writer, my fellow musician called Brian Burgess, but I did write all the lyrics and melodies.
And then, one other question that came up was, what is the current album about, the one that that is going to release today?
Thank you so much for asking that. I was hoping somebody would ask. So the name of the album is Someday. It is with my band Karishma. It is about, we thought about, when we were all in quarantine and literally in one apartment or one place that we had to stay in, I was going crazy. And every time I go crazy, I write, I start doing music. And it's kind of a vault. So I went back to when I was your age, 5, 6, 7 years old, and started singing songs that my teachers taught me. My Ustad Sultan Khan Saab, my teacher Komadi Munshi, they taught me. And felt the ones that really gave me comfort and solace in these difficult times. And I picked 5 songs that I love to sing that are in Hindi. These are traditional songs. 2 of them are Bollywood covers that also gave me a lot of comfort. And we put the soundscape of what we had, because we recorded this album remotely. Nobody could see each other, right? So the violinist was in Seattle, I was in New York, and the tabla player was in New Jersey. So everybody recorded on a computer their tracks, and we put together in mixing everything that we've recorded, and we produced an album in 30 days. And it was a long hour days. Like we were working for 20 days, 20 hours a day. But the thing was, we put together 5 songs, that Indian traditional songs that gave us the most comfort in such a difficult time of not seeing and hugging other people. Music is going to hug you from me. So this is my hug to the entire society and world.
Wow.
I'm sure all of us are so hungry now, hearing about everyone's favorite foods and seeing all the masala dabbas. I can literally smell the masala in the air.
And I'm also thinking about what my favorite spice is. Anu, let's quickly do this. What is your favorite spice?
I think my favorite spice for desserts is definitely saffron. And otherwise it's turmeric. Turmeric goes into everything I make, whether it's quinoa, whether it's rice. Like, I put turmeric in everything because of its health benefits. What about you?
I think for me, it'll be cumin. I think I excessively use it. It's very easy to use, and you can do it in the powder form, or you can use the seeds itself. And my mom always says that cumin is just like the base of Indian food. And you can use it in so many other kind of foods, like Mexican and others. So I think cumin would be my favorite spice.
Sounds great.
Yes.
So I know, Aditi, there are so many questions coming, and I know we had some more questions from our children who are participating, but we don't have time, unfortunately. Yes. So we will actually wrap this up by firstly thanking both Falu as well as Kanchan, and the children who are a part of it. Really, like, without you guys, the children, the 8 children, it really wouldn't have been what it is. It's just such a meaningful dialogue, such a meaningful conversation. And we really want to continue this conversation. As I mentioned earlier, we will have Dabba Dialogue episode 2 in fall. If any of the children want to participate, please send us a visual of your dabba, which is a picture or a drawing of your dabba, and tag us on Facebook or Instagram. And we will put all the information after this Facebook Live event. I do want to tell you that next week is Raksha Bandhan. So we are doing another event with the Indian Consulate on August 7 at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us. We have some amazing program and participants. And then end of August, we are doing an event again with the Indian Consulate and ITV Gold. And we are actually having a conversation with actor, producer, and now a children's book writer, Jugal Hansraj. Some of you might know him from the Lakdi Ki Kathi song. So, you know, it will be an amazing conversation. He'll give us tips about acting and also read from his children's book. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And Aditi, anything else?
That's it. I think we're actually over time right now, so we're going to have to conclude this. Thank you so much, everyone, all the moms and all the children for joining us for Dabba Dialogue on Masala Dabba's episode 1, proudly presented by the Indian Consulate, the Culture Tree, and ITV Gold. Also, stay tuned for highlights of this event on ITV Gold coming next week. So it was so great to host you all here. Thank you, Anu. Thank you, Kanchan. Thank you, Falu. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon. I hope you add some spices to everything that everyone has for lunch today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.